Move over, zombies. Step aside, vampires. Your reign of terror is over. There's a new monster in town, and its name is Marburg. This microscopic menace is making waves and headlines. This isn't your average run-of-the-mill virus. No, Marburg is in a league of its own, a true heavyweight in the world of infectious diseases. Oh no, Marburg is a hemorrhagic fever virus, a VIP in the world of deadly pathogens. It's the kind of virus that makes even seasoned doctors break out in a cold sweat. It's got star power, the kind that makes headlines and sends shivers down your spine. When Marburg shows up, the world takes notice. And trust me, you don't want to be cast in this horror movie. The symptoms are as terrifying as any Hollywood thriller. Marburg Virus Disease first swaggered onto the scene back in 1967, causing quite a stir in labs in Germany and Serbia. Scientists were baffled and horrified by what they found. It seems some monkeys, imported from Uganda, decided to share more than just their charming smiles. They brought along a deadly hitchhiker. They brought along a nasty surprise, the Marburg virus. This tiny invader quickly proved to be a formidable foe. This unwelcome guest quickly made itself at home, causing a severe, often fatal illness. Hospitals were overwhelmed and the medical community was on high alert. Since then, Marburg has been popping up in various parts of Africa, like a macabre game of whack-a-mole. Each outbreak brings a new wave of fear and urgency. And just like its infamous cousin, Ebola, Marburg isn't afraid to get up close and personal. It spreads through direct contact, making it a nightmare to contain. It's a blood-borne pathogen with a penchant for bodily fluids. Blood, sweat, and tears, Marburg thrives on them all. So, buckle up, dear reader. The story of Marburg is not for the faint of heart. We're about to take a deep dive into the world of Marburg, exploring its gruesome symptoms, the dismal treatment options, or lack thereof, and the frantic efforts to contain its spread. The stakes are high and the battle is fierce. It's a wild ride, so hold on tight. The world of Marburg is as fascinating as it is frightening, and its story is far from over. Let's talk about how this unwelcome dance partner gets around, shall we? Marburg virus is a master of disguise and persistence. Marburg isn't airborne, so you can breathe easy for now. Unlike some other viruses, it doesn't float through the air looking for its next victim. It's not transmitted through casual contact like brushing past someone on the street. You won't catch it from a simple handshake or a friendly hug. No, Marburg prefers a more intimate approach. It needs a closer connection to make its move. This virus is all about the bodily fluids. It thrives in the wet and warm environments of our bodies. We're talking blood, saliva, vomit, you name it. Any fluid that comes from an infected person is a potential carrier. If it's coming out of an infected person, consider it a biohazard zone. Treat it with the utmost caution. And it's not just direct contact you need to worry about. The virus can survive outside the body for a while. Marburg can linger on surfaces and materials too. It can stay on things like doorknobs, countertops, and even your clothes. Think contaminated bedding, clothing, even medical equipment. Anything that has come into contact with an infected person can be a risk. So, how do you avoid this deadly tango? The key is vigilance and cleanliness. Well, it's all about practicing good hygiene and common sense. Wash your hands frequently, like obsessively. Use soap and water, and don't forget the hand sanitizer. And avoid contact with anyone showing symptoms of the disease. Sounds simple enough, right? But it requires constant awareness. But as we all know, sometimes the simplest things are the hardest to do. Stay informed, stay cautious, and don't let your guard down. So, you've been exposed to Marburg. Lucky you. This isn't just any ordinary virus, it's one of the most deadly out there. Now it's time to play everyone's favorite game, Symptom Roulette. Spin the wheel and see what you win. Will it be a mild case or something more severe? The incubation period for Marburg is anywhere from 2 to 21 days. That's right, you could be symptom-free for almost 3 weeks. That's right, you get to spend up to 3 weeks wondering if you're going to get lucky or get sick. Talk about suspense. Every day is a new adventure in anxiety. And the symptoms? Oh, they're a real treat. Just when you think it can't get worse, it does. It starts out innocently enough with a fever, chills, headache, and muscle pain. You might think it's just a bad flu. You know, the usual suspects. But don't be fooled, this is just the beginning. But then things take a turn for the worse. Your condition can deteriorate rapidly. We're talking nausea, vomiting, diarrhea, abdominal pain, and a rash. These symptoms can be severe and debilitating. And if you're really lucky, you might even experience internal and external bleeding. Fun times. This is when things get really serious, requiring immediate medical attention. So while you wait, remember to stay isolated and keep those around you safe. The stakes are high and the game is deadly. Okay, so you've spun the wheel of misery and landed on Marburg. What happens next? Well, that's where things get a little tricky. You see, there's no specific treatment for Marburg virus disease. It's more of a treat the symptoms and hope for the best kind of situation. We're talking about supportive care here. Things like providing fluids and electrolytes, maintaining oxygen levels, and managing blood pressure. Basically, keeping the patient alive long enough for their body to hopefully fight off the virus. There are some experimental treatments out there, like antiviral drugs, but they're still in the early stages of development. So, for now, it's all about providing supportive care and hoping for a miracle. Now you might be thinking, but wait, isn't there a vaccine for this sort of thing? And the answer, my friend, is a resounding nope, at least not yet. There are a few vaccines in development, but they're still in the experimental phase. So until then, we're all just sitting ducks, waiting for the next outbreak to occur. It's enough to make you want to scream, isn't it? But hey, at least we can take comfort in the fact that we're not alone. There are brilliant scientists all over the world working tirelessly to develop a vaccine. So there's hope yet, right? Let's talk numbers, shall we? Because when it comes to deadly viruses, the fatality rate is always the elephant in the room. And in the case of Marburg, that elephant is wearing a scary mask and carrying a scythe. The fatality rate for Marburg virus disease varies depending on the outbreak and the quality of supportive care available. But on average, it sits somewhere between 24% and 88%. That's right, you have a 1 in 4 chance of dying if you contract this virus. But hey, at least those are just statistics, right? It's not like it's a guarantee or anything, right? Remember that game of whack-a-mole I mentioned earlier? Well, Rwanda is the latest country to find itself on the receiving end of the hammer. The good news is, they're not taking this lying down. Health officials in Rwanda are working tirelessly to contain the outbreak. We're talking isolation of suspected cases, contact tracing, and providing supportive care to those infected. It's a full-on battle against an invisible enemy. The World Health Organization, WHO, is also lending a helping hand, providing technical assistance and support to the Rwandan government. Because when it comes to fighting deadly viruses, teamwork makes the dream work. Section 8. Germany's close call. A textbook case of phew, that was close. Remember those monkeys from Uganda that started this whole mess? Well, it seems their legacy lives on. Recently, 2 people in Germany were tested for Marburg virus after one of them had contact with an infected patient in Rwanda. Talk about a close call. Thankfully, both people tested negative for the virus. Crisis averted. But this incident highlights the importance of contact tracing and surveillance, because you never know where this virus might pop up next. It's like a game of viral tag, and nobody wants to be it. Section 9. Contact tracing. Because nobody wants to play viral tag, contact tracing is one of the most effective ways to contain the spread of infectious diseases. It's basically detective work, but instead of solving crimes, we're tracking down people who may have been exposed to a virus. It's not glamorous work, but it's essential, because the sooner we can identify and isolate those who may have been exposed, the better our chances of preventing a full-blown outbreak. So, if you ever find yourself being contacted by a contact tracer, don't panic. They're not there to judge you. They're just trying to help. Section 10. Global health. It's not just a buzzword, people. The Marburg virus outbreak in Rwanda is a stark reminder that infectious diseases don't respect borders. What happens in one part of the world can quickly spread to another. Global health security is essential, now more than ever. We need to invest in public health infrastructure, strengthen surveillance systems, and develop new vaccines and treatments. Because the next pandemic is always just around the corner. It's time to stop thinking of global health as someone else's problem. It's everyone's problem. Section 11. Laughing in the face of doom, a survival guide, sort of. So, there you have it. The not-so-pretty truth about Marburg virus disease. It's a scary thought, knowing that there's a deadly virus out there with no cure and no vaccine. But hey, we've survived this long, haven't we? The best thing we can do is stay informed, practice good hygiene, and support global health initiatives. And maybe, just maybe, if we're lucky, we'll be able to avoid becoming a statistic in the next Marburg outbreak. Or, we could all just panic and run around like headless chickens. But where's the fun in that?